Greetings, salutations, respect and love. I am Scott, and you are in the Prog Corner, where today we are going to be talking about that great American artist, Neal Morse. I've been waiting to talk about him for a while. He's my favorite modern progressive rock artist. That's kind of the beauty of having a YouTube channel that's only 3 months old, is there's lots of good stuff I haven't gotten around to talking about yet. A lot of artists that I absolutely adore that I haven't really had a chance to, get down to the nitty gritty about on this channel. Today, it's Neal Morse's turn, and I couldn't be more excited. I really couldn't. This is going to be a great week here in the Prog Corner. For all you new subscribers, thank you so much. We're at 846 as I shoot this right now. To the new viewers, people just stumbling onto this channel, thank you. Hit that subscribe button. You won't be sorry. Well, maybe you will, but honestly, it don't cost a thing. So why the hell not, right? Anyway, we're going to be talking about Neal Morse. We're going to be ranking his solo albums, his prog albums. Just the prog albums. So the Neal Morse solo albums, the Neal Morse Band we're going to include in there. So we are not going to be talking about the singer-songwriter stuff, including 1999's Neal Morse and 2001's It's Not Too Late. We're not going to be looking at any of the worship albums. We're not going to be looking at the covers albums. We're not going to be looking at the Christmas album. We're not going to be talking about Transatlantic today. We're not going to be talking about Flying Colors. This is prog projects with the Neal Morse label attached to them. Now, the great Scott Medina from Sonic Perspectives wants to do a Spock's Beard show with me, the two Scotts. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. I'm sure I'll be doing a Transatlantic thing later because I adore them. But today it is all about Neal Morse, born August 2nd, 1960 in Van Nuys, California. He and his brothers grew up in a musical house. Their father was a choir director, so music was everywhere. Neal was into all the stuff that was on the radio. I guess he kind of got into heavy metal, and he liked Black Sabbath, so he went to go see them, and there was an opening band called Yes, and his life was forever changed. I can certainly relate to that. At some point, Neal was trying to be a rock star and working his way through the club circuit in California. At some point, he just decided enough is enough. Let's do the prog rock thing. So he started the band Spock's Beard with his brother Alan, Dave Miros, and Nick DiVirgilio. The first album, The Light. What a great album. Kind of the beginning of the third wave of prog. This was the clarion call for prog rockers around the world, that prog rock is back. He follows that up with their second album, Beware of Darkness, which is a George Harrison song that they do a cover of. That's amazing. The third album might be my favorite Spock's Beard album, The Kindness of Strangers. I absolutely adore this album. Fourth album was a slight letdown in the Spock's Beard discography, but it's still a fine record. Probably my favorite Spock's Beard album. This or The Kindness of Strangers. I don't know. I can't decide. 5, just amazing. At this point, Neal hooks up with Mike Portnoy, Roy Stalt, and Pete Trewavas, and they do a couple of Transatlantic albums. The first Transatlantic album, Sympty, SMPTE. That was followed up rapidly by the second Transatlantic album, Bridge Across Forever, and then they reconvene, Spock's Beard does, for their sixth album, the great concept album Snow. And at that point, Neal finds Jesus. He quits Spock's Beard. He quits Transatlantic. He's on a spiritual journey. He doesn't know where it's going to land. He doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. He prays about it, and he decides to continue on doing prog records. Thank God for that. His solo career began with those first two albums we talked about, the 1999 Neal Morse and the 2001 It's Not Too Late. But really, the first one that we're going to be talking about is Testimony. So we're going to be talking about the 8 Neal Morse solo prog albums, the 4 Neal Morse Band albums, and we're going to throw in the progressive rock opera. So that's 13 Neal Morse albums, and I can't believe we're 5 minutes into this video, and I haven't even started the countdown. So here we go. At number 13, we're going with Jesus Christ, the Exorcist. Yeah, this came out in 2019. This utilizes most of the Neal Morse Band. The big exception here is that there's a whole lot of different singers. This is like a kind of a companion piece to Jesus Christ Superstar. It's got a million different voices, not only Neil, but Ted Leonard sings a lot, Nick DiVirgilio, Kerry Livgren's son, Neal Morse's son even sings. There's no Mike Portnoy here. Eric Gillette handles the drum duties, and Paul Balatovitz handles guitar. We'll be talking about Paul's work through the Neal Morse discography here in a little bit, but this album is ranked 13th for me. It's just not as good as all the rest of the Neal Morse material. I know a lot of diehard Morse fans really like this album. There was some about it I just couldn't quite get into. It felt a little stagey. It felt theatrical. Maybe seeing this thing live performed on a stage would give me a different impression of it. But here it sits at number 13, as is. At number 12, I'm going to 2012 and Momentum. This was the last Neal Morse solo album before he started up the Neal Morse Band. It's got Paul Gilbert delivering a ripping solo on the title track. It's got a great epic that ends it, World Without End. But the rest of the album, to me, isn't at that same level as what Neal Morse was doing. And honestly, I think he realized that too, because shortly thereafter, he actually hires Eric Gillette and Bill Hubauer to go full-time. They were both on the Momentum album. They were invited to join the Neal Morse Band, and it got better from there. But at number 12 is Momentum. At number 11, the aforementioned debut album from the Neal Morse Band, and we're talking about the Grand Experiment. This is really cool because now they have a 5-piece band, and this is something Neal wanted to do for a while. He'd actually had some trouble touring. He had a US band and he had a European band. It was really convoluted. So this way, he had an actual 5-piece band that could do whatever he needed to do. But the Neal Morse Band is slightly different than the Neal Morse solo stuff in that you've got a lot of contributions from Eric Gillette and Bill Hubauer, songwriting-wise and vocals. But the spirit is exactly the same. Neal Morse's name is on them, so we're including them. I really like the Grand Experiment. I love the title track is very Styx-ish. I love that first song, The Calling, with the a cappella intro, but the big selling point here is obviously Alive Again, the 25-minute epic that closes it out. It's superlative. At number 10, probably the most controversial ranking here, I've got One. A lot of people's favorite Neal Morse album. It's his second of these prog albums that we're ranking here. I really like it. Phil Keaggy appears on this album. Author of Confusion is amazing. I just think it's a slight letdown from his first solo album, Testimony, and what would come slightly after with the next couple records, but it's a good album. I really like it. It's not out on vinyl yet. I guess Neal's working on it, so hopefully one day we'll get all the Neal Morse solo discography on vinyl. That would be really great. At number 9, I'm going with Lifeline. I really like this album. A lot of people do not. It can be a bit preachy sometimes. Neal gets into, some of the more spiritual sides of his songwriting on this album, but it's got The title track is amazing. Leviathan is great. The epic, So Many Roads, is probably my favorite Neal Morse epic. And those shorter songs, those shorter spiritually inclined tunes, I really like them. I think they're really, really well done. They're written fantastic. That's Lifeline. At number 8, I'm going with 2020's Sola Gratia. This is an album that, yeah, it's got the Neal Morse name on it, but all 5 members of the Neal Morse Band appear. This is kind of a follow-up to Sola Scriptura. That album was about Martin Luther. This one is about the Apostle Paul. It's fantastic. It's not preachy at all. You hardly know it's a Christian album as you're listening to it, but I love it. I think it's amazing. This was Neal's lockdown album. Everything was done remotely, and it's stellar. It's so good. Seemingly Sincere, probably the standout track here, but the whole album flows beautifully. I love it. At number 7, I'm going with last year's Innocence Danger from the Neal Morse Band. This saw the band doing one disc of all shorter tracks, and then the second disc was 2 monster epics. One was 19 minutes, one was 31 minutes. They're both amazing. I can't say enough good things about disc 2. Disc 1 kind of left me a little cold in spots. The Bridge Across Troubled Waters cover just kind of doesn't do it for me. I gotta say, a lot of people love it. I kind of do not. At number 6, we're going with Testimony to T2. This was the follow-up to Neal's debut album. He had more to say about his conversion to Christianity, and this continues the story that was told in Testimony. But this one's a little more rockin'. It's a little more concise. They throw a bonus track, Seeds of Gold, with the great Steve Morse on guitar here. But T2 also has Paul Miladowicz and Carl Groves singing. You've got the guys from Spock's Beard come back and sing along with Neal on Time Changer. It's a great album. If you haven't heard T2, you really need it. At number 5, I'm going with its predecessor, Testimony. This one came out in 2003 after Neal had quit Spock's Beard and Transatlantic. So this was a real shot in the dark. What do we do? Is my career over? Is anybody going to follow me? This is all Neal. And Mike Portnoy, Randy George had not joined up with them yet, so Neal's on bass. You get Kerry Livgren on guitar, but it's all Neal and it's all Mike and it's all amazing. The songwriting here is obviously sent from heaven above. There's no other explanation that an album this good could be number 5 on anybody's ranking. It's insane. It really is. At number 4, I'm going with The Great Adventure. This was the follow-up to the Similitude of a Dream. It's almost as good. It's a little darker. It's a little rockier. It tells the tale of the protagonist in the Similitude's son, and now he's looking for his dad. They're going down the same types of roads and paths and journeys that his father had, and it's just a really great album. I love it. It's maybe slightly less interesting than the Similitude, but it's incredible. I love it a lot. At number 3, let's go with 2007 Sola Scriptura. This is clearly the heaviest thing Neal ever did. It's a rockin' album. It's amazing. The great Paul Gilbert, again, is on this record from Mr. Big. It tells the story of Martin Luther and his putting his note up on the door of the Catholic Church and how he changed the world. Neal claims he didn't know about an anti-Semitic side to Martin Luther's biography, so he almost did away with this project, but I'm glad he did not. Yeah, it's pretty scathing attack on the Catholic Church, but I really, really like it a lot. At number 2, I'm going with Question Mark from 2005. This is a 12-song cycle that kind of flows all the way through, kind of like the Whirlwind did for Transatlantic. You've got some great guests on this album. You've got Roy Stolt from the Flower Kings. You've got Steve Hackett. You've got Jordan Rudess. I mean, this album is just amazing. It tells the story of God's tabernacle. I know it sounds awful, but it's just absolutely incredible. Some of Neal's best songwriting, and when Steve Hackett rips that solo in 12, it's just ungodly great. So why isn't this number one? Well, that puppy right there is why it's not number one. At number one is The Similitude of a Dream from 2016. It's perfect. It's absolutely amazing. The themes just roll around and recur and change up, but every melody is rock solid. The contributions from all 5 members are just incredible. Similitude of a Dream is one of the greatest progressive rock albums of this century. It might be the best progressive rock album of this century, if I'm being really honest. It's amazing. I love Neal Morse. I love Spock's Beard. I love Transatlantic. Like I said, Neal is probably my favorite modern prog artist for a reason. I love him. We're going to be doing more episodes about him in the future, obviously. But that's my ranking of the Neal Morse solo albums along with the Neal Morse Band album. So that's 13 prog albums that have the name Neal Morse on them. I recommend all of them. Well, maybe I don't recommend the rock opera, but all the rest of them are incredible. Anyway, it's been a minute. I missed you guys. I was getting lazy over the weekend. Had some technical difficulties here with, whatever going on here, internet and stuff. But I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. But anyway, I love you guys. This is going to be a great week. I have some great episodes in store for you this week. This is the first of 3 ranking episodes I'm doing this week. Yeah, I'm doing the two big ones. I'm doing Yes, and I'm doing Genesis this week. So stay tuned, y'all. This is going to be really exciting for me. I'm having a great time here in the Prog Corner. I love you. Subscribe. Do what you need to do. And I'll see you guys on the flip-flop. Peace.